Ladies and gents, yesterday, Starship 7, Elon Musk's Starship 7 from SpaceX exploded over Turks and Caicos. I've never been to Turks and Caicos, and I'm not even sure if that's how you say Caicos, but I'm going to go with Caicos. Turks and Caicos. If you guys seen the video, let me pull it up. Check this out. Look at this. Look at this. This stuff just started raining down. All the different streaks, somebody in the comments was like, it's because of the different metals. But it just started raining down, burning metal. Look at that. Look at that. If you were to see this while you're on vacation in a beautiful place, I'm assuming Turks and Caicos is beautiful, you would think there's an alien invasion happening, or we're being attacked by a missile fire or something like that, right? That's crazy. That is spectacular. It went viral all over the internet yesterday. Elon Musk failed. Starship 7 failed, right? Everybody looks at people like Elon, Donald Trump, Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, and it's wins and fails. That's what they pay attention to. Wins and fails. They failed. They lost $1 billion off of their net worth. And people pay attention to that. Small minds pick apart massive people's failures. Can you imagine failing at that level and having the entire world, or half the world, or whoever hates you, laughing in your face? What would that feel like? Right? But the thing that I think about, let me say this. There's this movie called Meet the Robinsons. You guys seen that? Leave it in the comments if you've seen Meet the Robinsons. If you haven't, I want you to, I'm going to leave a link to this song because it's so good. I'm going to leave it in the description. You guys can watch it. It's a fail song. Basically, they go around the dinner table and one of them talks about how they failed in the day. Actually, the boy, he goes into the future. He meets his future family and he talks about his failure. And they start singing. I get chills. I'm getting chills. I mean, you can't see that. It's so good. And they're like, you failed. It's amazing. They have this whole song about how failure is good. Failure propels you forward. The people who risk failure are the ones who have the most success. They're the ones who are learning the most. Right? One of the core tenets of my life that I live by is if I don't have a life of failure, I'm not living a full life. I want to constantly be doing things that are challenging my mindset. Right now, I have half a dozen things that I'm working on that I am failing at. And some of those things are going to fail completely. I told you guys in one of the previous videos that I spent $10,000 on a coaching program. I didn't do the coaching program. I spent 10 grand on nothing. A complete F. Failed. Totally failed. Didn't do it at all. But you know what I learned? I actually learned a very important lesson from that whole thing. I actually didn't talk about this the other day. I learned a very important lesson. I learned that setting the call or setting your leads, a lot of the times I did my sales video yesterday, but you guys should watch that if you haven't. I feel like it's good. And those of you who have watched it, hopefully it's good. I talked a little bit about setting. When you have a lead that comes in, make sure that you message them and confirm that they're going to come to the appointments, blah, 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 blah. But if you're going to a cold audience, this is something I didn't talk about. If you're going to a cold audience and you start messaging, you start interacting with people in the comments, you can actually have a setter come and warm those people up in the DMs and get them to commit to a call. So I'm not talking about people who have already committed to a call. I'm talking about setting people who haven't even committed to a call. You can get more leads that way. You can get more calls on your calendar that way if you have people who are setting your calls set to a cold audience. Anyway, that's what I learned. So yes, I spent $10,000. Yes, I failed at doing their program, but I learned something. I learned something that is going to make me millions of dollars over the course of the next few years, because part of my strategy moving into 2025 is to make sure that I have systems put in place so that way I can set engagement on my social medias and sell more people more stuff. So my point in all of this, you guys, is that it's a small-minded, lower class way of thinking if you look at someone and publicly shame them and mock them for failing. Because guess what? They're at least doing something. And I'm not pointing fingers at you guys. I know you guys wouldn't do that. But failing is how you progress. There isn't anybody on this planet who hasn't done something, who has done something amazing that hasn't failed in their life. I told you guys the story about my attorney friend. My attorney friend, if you missed that one, my attorney friend and I were talking, and we were actually talking about who's going to build a vacation cabin that the other can go to first. And he's like, "Oh, you'll probably do it." And I was in the middle of a business failure. I was trying to do an app. I spent a whole bunch of money on this guy, and the guy totally bombed. He couldn't create the app. It sucked. It was terrible. And I was talking to my attorney, and he's like, "Man, the thing I admire about you entrepreneurs is that you fail so much, but you fail so much that you learn everything not to do, and then the only possible outcome is success." So here's my advice to you guys. If you are not actively failing at something, go out there and find something to do and get your teeth kicked in. The more times you get your teeth kicked in, the more likely it is that you're going to be successful. And most people think, well, the pain's going to last forever. It doesn't. The stress is going to last forever. It doesn't. You figure out ways of coping with stress. One of the things that makes me so disappointed in younger generations right now, and I know they work their way out of it. Everybody was talking about how lazy the millennials are, 10 years ago. And then the millennials, now they're hardworking. They're hardworking folk. Now it's all about the Gen Zers, and they'll figure it out. They make fun of the young generation because they haven't got their teeth kicked in. But one of the things that makes me frustrated about the younger generation is that we're so soft that we need to have nap rooms at work, and we need to have mental health breaks from things. And listen, I'm not knocking anybody who has mental health issues. Trust me, I get it. Been there, done that. I just don't think that we cope with them the way that we should. I think that if we were to cope with them the way that our great grandparents did when they were actually on a farm, living on a farm, and if they didn't harvest the wheat, they were going to die and they were going to starve. That was their livelihood. So they just put their head down and got to work. I feel like we would have a whole lot less mental health crisis in the world. So again, not trashing on anybody. And I really, I'm trying to keep this whole thing positive. Sometimes that inner monologue comes out, or some of those real true thoughts about little things come out. You guys get it all. No edits in this one. But my point is if we just embrace failure, embrace hard, challenging things, we'll eventually come out on top. That's my message to you. Fail like Elon. Nobody fails more spectacularly than that guy. A rocket ship. That's an astronomical fail. Did you get it? I'm so dumb. All right, you guys. That's what's been on my head over the last couple of days. Got some big things dropping over the next week, so I'm excited to talk about those things, some advancements in the business. I know sometimes I'm talking a lot about mindset and a lot of the training and tactics that I've been doing to get to this point, and I hope that you guys like those things. But I'm also going to talk about the things that I'm specifically thinking about in the moment as they come. So keep the questions coming. I love the questions, and I'll see you guys on the next one. Later. Bye.